in
That's not
2022.
the question I'm asking you.
It was all on fiscal stimulus, which was the American Rescue Plan.
Okay, but I'm saying that stuff, that's the normal stuff of politics and economics.
50%?
It goes up and down. But not
that normal.
But wait, but wouldn't you concede that not conceding elections is a much bigger, more existential issue, and that he's not going to concede this election? Can you imagine, can you tell me a scenario where he loses, maybe even by more, and he concedes the election? Can you imagine him saying, I've seen the results, and I'd like to congratulate Kamala Harris on running a good campaign? It's impossible to imagine.
I don't have to imagine. I don't have to imagine any of it because I know the history of it. And the history of it is he moved out of the White House. There was a peaceful transition of power, and there was an inauguration on January 21st.
He tried everything not to do that.
They tried to do the same unconstitutional process that Democrats did in the last three elections when Republicans
won. The Democrats sent fake electors. The Democrats pressured the Justice Department. The Democrats went to court and got laughed out of it. No,
so
that never happened in any other election.
You're talking about utilizing the legal process. Now, I disagree with the fact that there should even be a process to decertify an election. But Democrats did it 3 times in the elections prior to that. Where was the hand-wringing then? Stacey Abrams has never said that she lost the governor's race in Georgia.
And that's
wrong. Nobody wrings their hands about it.
That's wrong, and it's a false equivalency to sending fake electors.
What do you mean fake electors? What fake electors?
Today, we bring you a heated debate between Dan Crenshaw, Caitlin Collins, and Bill Maher on Real Time that highlights the growing divide in American politics over how to run for office, especially after Donald Trump's refusal to concede the 2020 election results and the subsequent January 6 Capitol riot. Crenshaw's attempt to compare the Republican election challenges to those brought by Democrats in previous elections, such as 2000 and 2016, reflects a broader defense of the Republican legal moves. Collins and Maher, however, countered, arguing that Trump's actions went beyond ordinary political challenges by inciting violence and undermining the peaceful transfer of power, a cornerstone of American democracy. The conversation was fraught with controversy over the polarized state of American politics, with each participant offering their own distinct views on political issues. Let's hear their views.
Look, he just does. I would, whether he does the debate or not, I don't know. I'm not a political pundit trying to analyze this stuff. But I do know that it's a very easy debate to win. So all you have to say is, look, you had 4 years, I had 4 years. When I was president, and when you were president, here's the differences. Gas prices are up 50% when you're vice president. Electricity prices up 30%. Grocery up 22%. The list keeps going. Taxes were lower under Trump. They raised them under Biden and Harris. Regulations were lower under Trump. They raised them under Biden and Harris. Immigration numbers way down. They actually tried to stop the problem. Record numbers under Biden and Harris. This is a very easy debate to win because on the metrics, it's very easy to show side by side.
Okay,
but that's what his campaign wants him to say. But Donald Trump it's not a campaign where you just give him his talking points and he goes out there and delivers them. I mean, Donald Trump is his own biggest impediment. His own campaign will tell you that. I mean, he's questioning whether or not her race and whether or not she's actually black at an event with black journalists. It's stuff like that his campaign is, watching in real time and knowing he's their own biggest liability.
And also, if I may say, you're sure of yourself. You present these issues as if it's, a slam dunk. Less regulations. Well, some regulations are good.
Some are good, but 10 more.
Some are bad. Believe me, I live in California. I know.
We have a lot. It's like I oversee the EPA, my subcommittee. One regulation can be good. Clean air, good. All of it, good.
And I have a lot of friends who are Republicans that kind of believe in lighter touch regulation, maybe a few less taxes, kind of slightly nationalistic. If I'm one of you, I want Trump to get beaten bad. I mean, I'm talking about a 64-72 wipeout. You know what happened after Republicans got wiped out in 64? They won in 68. You know what happened after the Democrats got wiped out in 72? They won in 76. If Harris gets 280 electoral votes, your party is fucked because he's stuck with them the whole time. They're not going anywhere. You want a wipeout.
It seems the story is more tense than we thought. Crenshaw points out that questioning election outcomes is not unique to Republicans, stating that Democrats have also challenged election results in the past. He argues that Democrats, for 3 consecutive elections, pursued legal challenges, or questioned results, suggesting that this kind of dispute isn't exclusive to Republicans. However, Crenshaw acknowledges that both parties' actions fall within legal processes, though he personally believes the process of certifying elections through Congress is flawed. Both Collins and Maher push back against Crenshaw's equivalency. They argue that what happened during and after the 2020 election, specifically with Donald Trump, was far more extreme. They emphasize that Trump's refusal to concede and his encouragement of actions like the January 6 Capitol riot set his actions apart from any previous Democratic challenges. Maher underscores that Trump went beyond legal challenges, encouraging violence and spreading baseless claims about election fraud, leading to the unprecedented assault on the Capitol.
Let's go back to 280 votes.
Okay.
What does Trump do if he loses this? Now, he lost the last election, right?
Yeah, he lost the last election.
Okay, that's a very important thing.
Somebody else is president.
But he hasn't conceded losing that last election. My point to you, sir, is that gas prices and food prices go up and down. But this shit is forever.
Okay. Don't take my word for Biden policies being responsible for inflation. You can just ask the Fed and their statements in 2022.
That's not the question I'm asking.
It was all on fiscal stimulus, which is the American Rescue Plan.
The debate also touches on the role of leadership in such moments. Trump's refusal to accept the results and his efforts to undermine them are contrasted with past elections, where candidates conceded defeat for the sake of democratic stability. Leaders have a responsibility to uphold these traditions, and Trump's break from that norm is seen as particularly dangerous. The U.S. is at a critical juncture in determining how future elections will be handled. Will the tradition of peacefully conceding be restored, or will future candidates use similar tactics as Trump if they lose? This uncertainty has led to fears that future elections could be marred by violence or contested in ways that further erode public trust.
Check Michael Bloomberg said there's zero evidence that the economy, the first 2 years of the Trump economy went in better than the last 2 years of the Obama economy. All right, period. The truth of the matter is, Trump inherited.
What did you say?
Trump inherited a good economy. Okay, Biden inherited a crappy economy.
Oop.
That's a fact. Okay, that's a fact.
That's not a fact.
So inheriting economy matters when you count jobs.
A Democrat storming the Capitol and beating the shit out of a police officer, then I'm going to say something.
I definitely saw them beating the shit out of a lot of police officers and burning down a lot of buildings in the riots of 2020. But on the inheriting a good economy, can we address that real quick? Because that's often a talking point, and it's completely false. By the time Biden took office, real GDP was back to pre-pandemic levels. And one of the quarters in the last year of Trump, 35% increase in GDP, then 5%, then 4%. You were well on your way to a recovered economy by the time Biden got to take office. That's where a lot of those job gains were coming from. And they were despite the fact that Democrat mayors and governors all over the country were destroying their own cities, destroying their own economies, keeping them locked down more than they needed to, just like here in LA, just like in California, just like what Tim Walz did in Minnesota. These things all happened. And so if you want to talk about inflation, what causes inflation? Lack of supply, too much demand. They injected a ton of demand, $2 trillion worth in American Rescue Plan, and then they screwed supply by screwing up and closing down factories and businesses. That creates a perfect storm.
In a debate, finding common ground is impossible. And as we have seen, things have become more tense than ever because of different political views. The race to the White House is still the most concerned issue today because it greatly affects the future of the United States. We are always looking for the most attractive videos to bring to you. Please support us by liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your interest.